now we have come to the second part of the first day, of the fourth day, sorry. And it's all about sleep, exercise, and immunity. So, of course, another interdependent system, sleep, and how you work on your body. So, and what benefits you might have for your immune system. And here we have, I think, 3 papers to go through, and then again, our discussion round. So we will start out with Dr. Are we going with
Dr. Shivashankari? I think she's ready.
All right, we're going for, with Dr. Shivashankari, and she will be presenting a paper on the role of Ashtanga Yoga in enhancing immunity.
Shall I start, sir?
Yes, you can. Just go on.
Okay. Good afternoon, all. I am Dr. Shivashankari, Siddha physician from India. Next slide. My topic is role of Ashtanga Yoga in enhancing immunity. First, what we know about what is yoga. Yoga means union of body and the mind, and bringing harmony between them, and it is the art and the science of healthy living. Yoga means being practiced since pre-Vedic period. Many saints quoted about it. The famous saints like Agasthyar, Patanjali, Pulipani, and Tirumular, etc. Astam means 8. Ashtanga Yoga means 8 limbs. Yema Niyamame, Yenila Adanam, Nayamura Pranayamam Pratyaharam, Sayamihu Taranai Thyanam Samadhi, Ayamuru Attangam Avad Ame. Tamil Muvayiram. Next slide. This is the Tamil poem, which means Iyamam, restraint and moral discipline, Niyamam, positive duties and observance, Asanam, posture, Pranayamam, breathing technique, Pratyaharam, sense withdrawal, Dharanai, focused concentration, Dhyanam, meditative absorption, and Samadhi, enlightenment. These are the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga. Next slide. According to the Siddha concepts, human body is made up of 96 Tattvangal, that is the 96 components. It has 4 sessions: Manam, Buddhi, Ahangaram, Sittam. What is meant by Manam? Manam is to think something, Buddhi to analyze that thing, Ahangaram to initiate the action, and Sittam complete the action. So the mind and the body connection is the link between the person's thought, their attitudes, behaviors, and physical health. Next slide. So mental health includes emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects what to think, feel, and act. It also helps to hand the stress and related to others. So mental health is important for every stage of life. Many factors affect the mental health, such as biological factors, life experience, family history, etc. Next slide, sir. It causes mental illness like stress, anxiety, depression, anger, sleeplessness, appetite change, life withdrawal, substance abuse, feeling guilty, and change in behaviors. Next slide. In humans, autonomous nervous system, the 2 major systems response to stress. When we have a mental illness, the stress hormones, corticosteroids, can suppress the immune systems. The stress develops the inflammatory proteins. The inflammation causes atrophy and impair in the brain, which leads to depressive behaviors. Next slide. So first of all, we Ashtanga Yoga. The first limb is EMM. EMM aspects are non-violence, truthfulness, non-stealing, temperance, non-possessiveness. The EMM is self-restraint and self-study. So, next slide, sir. The second limb of Ashtanga Yoga is Niyam, contentment, authority, self-study, devotion to higher powers. The eight limbs of yoga, the first two are the base of others. The first two, Yamam and the Niyama, are the base of others. Niyamam is to think, to do, coming to term with ourselves. So Yamam, Niyamam are the guidelines to live the harmony. It reduces stress and keep the body healthy. Next slide. So the third limb is asana. Keep the mind and body strong. As Yogasanam helps boost the immunity by reducing stress, enhancing the optimal functions of all organs. Next slide, sir. A few examples, the Yogasanam helps to reduce the stress are Sasagasanam, Balasanam, Paschimottanasam, Uttanasanam, Savasana. And stimulates the blood flow to the body is Trigonasanam, Ustrasanam, Tadasanam, Vajrasanam. Next slide. Just to show you a few postures example, that is Sasagasanam. Next slide, sir. Balasanam. Next slide. Paschimottanasam. This is Uttasanam and Savasanam. And Trigonasanam, Uttrasanam, Tadasanam, this is Vajrasanam. These asanas highly influence the number of red and white blood cells productions. Next slide, sir. The fourth limb is Pranayama. It's a simplest and effective way to boost the immunity. Pranayama practice focusing on breath, lung, and respiratory tract. Stimulates the lymphatic system, removing toxins from the body, and it also increases the endorphins and decrease the cortisol level. Next slide, sir. This is a small video. How to do the pranayama.
Nice.
Next slide. Okay, next. There are different types of pranayama. Just to know the names, Sitkari, Sittali, Kabalabadi, Nadisitti, Agnisaram. Next slide. The fifth limb is Pratyaharam. Withdraw the stress, external focus and the internal focus. The external focus are the previous limbs of the yogam such as asanam and pranayamam, and the internal focus are sustained limbs. It reduces the emotional distress and our senses to long-term immunity. Next slide. Dharanai, the sixth limb is Dharanai, collection or concentration of the mind, action of holding, bearing, wearing, etc. Mind get peaceful, focusing on one area and avoid and control the mind and avoid the frustration. Next slide, sir. Dhyanam, the seventh limb is Dhyanam. Dhyanam is a state of mind where one's focus is maintained or absorbed in a one point of focus. It enhancing the alpha and the theta brain waves, balance function of neuroendocrine system, and enhancing the immunity. Next slide, sir. There is a bit confusion between Dharanai and the Dhyanam. One focus is maintained or absorbed in a point of focus. I gave an example. Focusing the camera, focusing the moving object by the lens is Dharanai. And the camera focus the locked point of the object is Dhyanam. So there is a small difference between the Dharanai and the Dhyanam. So next slide, sir. The last and final is Samadhi. It's a super conscious state of mind. The Samadhi is considered among the internal limbs of yogam along with the dharana and dhyanam. The internal limbs are the path of Raja Yogam to liberation. Next slide, sir. So we consider as our human body is like a tree. The base, the root are yamam, trunk niyamam, branches asana, leaves pranayama, bark pratyahara, sap dharanai, flower dhyanam, and the fruit is samadhi. And finally, yogam is helps to reduce the stress level, favors calmness of the mind, and improves the immunity and to withstand fight against the disease causing factors and make the capacity of the body well-being person. Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That was a very informative and short view into the possibilities of Ashtangam Yoga, which is, as we can see, Siddha medicine is using the possibilities of yoga as an exercise in body and mind in that sense, and bringing some advantages to your immune system. Thank you very much, Doctor. We are moving on to the next paper, which will be
Dr. Mrinalini.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right,
Hello,
great.
Yeah, I will host the slides for you. Yeah, so.
Thank you, sir.
So we will have the next paper, which is on a review on exploring evidence-based approach between immunity and sleep in the corona pandemic, best of modern and Siddha system of medicine going together.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your introduction.
Yes.
Good evening, all. Myself, Dr. Mrinalini, working as a Siddha consultant in Siddha Clinical Research Unit, Safdarjung Hospital, under CCRS, New Delhi. So in this COVID pandemic situation, we all doctors from various systems of medicine looking forward for immunomodulatory internal medicine vaccine to increase immunity. In spite of having all these, without a quality of sleep, immunity will not get boosted. So here sleep is superpower. With this note, I'm entering into my topic, a review on exploring evidence-based approach between immunity and sleep in corona pandemic, best of modern and Siddha system of medicine. Next slide. So let me give you a short intro about my topic. As I said earlier, the immune system plays a great role in response to any foreign organism. It gets influenced by sleep and the circadian system. The quality of sleep can increase T cells in our body that fight off infection. But whereas in COVID-19 pandemic, the routine of large population got altered, and it also affects the quality of sleep. In Siddha system of medicine, under daily regime, that is Nalulukam, sleep, that is Nithirai, were highlighted as one of the most essential factor responsible for healthy and fulfilling life. The quality and quantity of sleep equally influence one's good health. As a person deprived of sleep develops varied disorder. As per International Code of Disease, 50 sleeping disorder has been mentioned. So my objective of the study is to present available data on relationship between immunity, sleep in this COVID pandemic from both modern and Siddha system of medicine. So I have collected a few papers, that is PubMed scientific papers from PubMed database that is between starting from March 2020 till date with the descriptors of sleep, quarantine, COVID-19 and immunity. And Siddha literature evidence were collected from Siddha Noila Neri and Padatha Gunasindamani literature, Siddha literature books. In my first article, next page, that is sleep and immunity in times of COVID-19. This paper analyzed the influence of sleep on one's immunity during COVID pandemic, which allows for an increased onset of sleep disorder correlated with worsening of mental health and making the body more vulnerable of disease. So in this article, it explains about how COVID pandemic affect mental health, followed by sleep, and followed by immune system. Again, due to this weak immune system, COVID may easily enter into our body. Here, in this article, it summarizes about sleep has a unique role in maintenance of immunity. The circumstance that affect its quality has been associated with the reduction in response to vaccine, the increase in vulnerability to infectious disease, and found that there was a greater susceptibility to cold related shorter duration of sleep deprivation. That is, if a person has a sleep deprivation of 1 day, may catch cold. When discussing about the immunity, it is divided into, next slide, sir. It is divided into innate immunity and adaptive immunity, both having an important component of communication, that is cytokines. So cytokines are the protein produced by cells of immune system that promote intra and intercellular immune response. So some of the cytokines involved in sleep are interleukin 6, that is IL-6, tumor necrosis factor alpha. Interleukin 6 is a pro-inflammatory cytokine. It plays an important role in reduction of anabolic pathway and increase the catabolic pathway. Whereas the function of tumor necrosis factor involves immunomodulation, apoptosis, and pathological response. In short, in COVID pandemic, what happens? The people may have an increased amount of anxiety, stress, leads to sleep, and followed by deregulation of this immunity, this inflammatory and antiviral response. So this paper concludes that if a person who is having already sleep depression, sleep issues, in their blood, they have both CRP and IL-6. So when insomnia get added to it, they are easily prone for infection. So in my next paper, it talks about, next slide, sleep and COVID-19, consideration about immunity, pathophysiology, and treatment. This paper summarizes about fear and uncertainty caused by coronavirus. That is the social isolation, self-quarantine, restricted mobility and social contact, concern about financial resources and availability of supplies, the fear of infection, question about how long we have to get self-quarantine. So these will cause, these factors leads to stress in people, and eventually they will get a sleep disorder, and these sleep order is influenced by retinal stimulation like electronic device, and extended or night shift workers, healthcare workers, they are the victims of this lung infection, inflammation due to viral infection. This is actually a narrative review. This also addresses the relationship between COVID-19, sleep, and as well as immunological aspects. In this review, they have also added a point that 3 European countries like Switzerland, Germany, Austria, the COVID-19 lockdown led to improved individual sleep wake timing and overall sleep. So in this country, they had a good sleep. But at the same time, however, many people suffered from decreased sleep quality in this COVID situation. So the major factors are hyperstimulation by the media, being TV, newspaper, radio, and electronic device, shift work. So this leads to chronic acute sleep deprivation. So next slide, sir. This illustration clearly explains about how shift workers, night shift workers, are easily prone for COVID infection. In night shift workers, they won't have adequate sleep, which leads to antioxidant imbalance, inducing oxidative stress, and followed by they have a reduced immunological memory, and they are increased exposure to allergens. It leads to COVID, SARS-CoV infection. So next article. My third article is about COVID-19 melatonin as a potential adjuvant treatment. As you all know, melatonin is a hormone secreted from pineal gland. It helps in a sleep-wake cycle. This article summarizes the likely benefits of melatonin in the attenuation of COVID-19 based on putative pathogenesis. So based on the clinical features, so next slide, sir. Based on the clinical features, pathology, and the pathogenesis of acute respiratory disorder. So, so in coronavirus, what happens? There will be excessive inflammation, excessive oxidative stress will happen, and there will be a more inflammatory markers happening, which eventually leads it damage the lungs. So what happens? This leads to cytokine storm and subsequent progression to acute lung injury or acute respiratory distress syndrome, and often it leads to death. So if we induce this melatonin here, we all know melatonin, a well-known anti-inflammatory and antioxidant molecule, is protective against this the acute lung injury and acute respiratory distress caused by viral or any other pathogens. So in this study, it is reviewed that melatonin is effective in critical care patient by reducing vessel permeability, anxiety, sedation use, and improving sleep quality, which might be also beneficial for better outcome in COVID-19 patient. So notably, melatonin has a high safety profile. There is a significant data showing that melatonin limit virus-related disease and would also likely to be beneficial in COVID-19 patients. So these are the experimental they are conducting, and even more experiments should be done to confirm this one. So these are the modern data I have collected from PubMed scientific article. So now moving on to Siddha. Slide, sir. In Siddha, as I mentioned earlier, Noila Neri is a Siddha literature book. It explains about sleep under the topic of Nalulakam, that is daily regimen. Siddhas have mentioned certain procedure to follow with regard to sleep as a part of a daily regimen. What is Nalulakam? Nalulakam mentions the systematic order of everyday activities that every person needs to follow in order to avoid lifestyle disorder and related diseases. So it describes the methodology to take good care of our body and mind. Next slide. So they have given a sleep protocol. So how to sleep, where to sleep, in which position we have to sleep, how long we have to sleep. So first, what will be the best posture to sleep? By lying on the left flank and extended limbs. Which direction is ideal to keep our head during sleep? It is best to keep on east direction so that it promotes good sleep. It promotes good sleep and health. So where to sleep? Basically, here they have mentioned a special white silk cotton, and they have also mentioned Indian cotton mattress. So since it reduce the internal body heat and increase the amount of blood in our system, they have advised this to cotton. Then what are the benefits of sleep? Reduce the fatigue of five sense organ, generalized body discomfort, beside giving refreshment to the mind and longevity. Then is it a right to sleep in daytime? So in Siddha, it is strictly mentioned that we should avoid day sleep since it increases the Vada disease, and particularly on while taking oil bath, we should avoid daytime sleep, and the person who is obese should avoid day sleep. So what are the effects of sleep deprivation? So lack of sleep during night causes mental delusion and the spice sense. It decreases the good activity of five sense, indigestion, etc. Next slide, sir. Next slide, sir. So as I mentioned earlier, we have to sleep on left flank. So why we have to sleep on left flank? Sleeping in left arm helps us to maintain the flow of breath. Flow of breath. Previous slide, sir. Previous slide, sir. Sir. Previous slide. So sleeping in left arm helps us to maintain the flow of breath through left nostrils, because breathing through the left nostrils will produce a good sleep. And it also mentioned how many hours we have to sleep. Previous slides. Sir, am I audible? Yes.
Yes. I
Next
think
one, sir.
this one, no?
This
No,
slide
sir.
or
Next one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So it is mentioned that we have to go to a bed between 9 to 10 o'clock. We have to wake up between 4 to 5. Then we should not close our face while sleeping with a blanket, and we should avoid day sleep. Then followed by how many hours we have to sleep. It depends on the age of the person. So the age between 5 to 15 years can have a sleep for 8 hours. From 16 to 30 years can have a 7 hours of sleep, and the age group between 30 to 50 years can have a 6 hours of sleep. Person above 50 and or above can have a 8 hours of sleep. It's like, so what happen if we have excess sleep? In Siddha it is mentioned. Next slide. In Siddha it is mentioned even excessive sleep. Next slide, sir. In Siddha it is mentioned that
I think
it's
that
not.
was the one before, right? With the
Yes, sir.
Yes. I think the doctor is just seeing the slides a little later when
Okay, sir, no problem. So in Siddha it is mentioned that even excessive sleep is also not good for our health. If a person sleeps above the mentioned increased sleeping mentioned hour, they will experience giddiness or headache, sinusitis, fever, fatigue, anemia, and blockage in blood vessel, anoxia, etc. So to get rid of this habit, we can follow certain treatments like having a single meal a day, emetic therapy, nasal installation, and applying a medicine in eyes, that is collyrium. Next slide, sir. So, as I mentioned earlier, that sleep urge, now we should control our sleep and do certain things. So, like urination, how we should not control the urge of feel of urinating, defecation, like that. It is mentioned we should not control the sleep also. If a person controls that one, he may experience headache, slurred speech, loss of hearing, and redness of the eyes. Next slide. To enhance the sleep, as I mentioned earlier, that I have mentioned two types of cotton. Another mattress type. This is nut grass mat. So this what it will help now, it helps in cure indigestion, ill effects of fever, and it gives coolness to the body, and it promotes good sleep. Having this palesur, that is a fermented rice, will reduce kabam and induce good sleep. How to make a fermented rice? So we have to add a water, to adequate amount of water to the boiled rice overnight. At morning, with that rice along with water, we can add a curd, and we can have our morning breakfast. It will help in good sleep. I mean, even it is very good for our gut health also. Next slide. As we all are aware of this herb Ashwagandha, it is mentioned in one study that this leaf of this herb contain TEG, triethylene which positively affect the rapid eye movement. And another study suggests that 300 milligram 2 times a day can help you fall asleep faster and improve sleep quality. In Siddha, it is called as Amukta Churnam. We used to advise patients, particularly at night time, with warm milk. Next one. Another herb is Korasani Omam. The part used is seeds. So dosages of about 125 to 500 milligram we can use. This also we have to crush and make into a powder with the warm water. We can give to the patient who are experiencing insomnia. Even dementia patients we use to advise. Another practice in Indian cuisine, that is usage of poppy seeds. So we used to dry roast the poppy seeds and make it a powder along with a palm candy at night with a warm milk will give you a good sleep. So that we use in Indian cuisine. Next slide. This as a home remedy. We can try this one. This is actually given in Siddha Gunapadam Siddha literature. that is henna flower. We have to pull our pillows with a henna flower. We have to use that pillow. So it helps in regulates of sleep cycle, and it regulates our body temperature also. It also makes our body cool. So the flower of this henna majorly have a potent terpene, which is largely responsible for this pungent odor. Since this has some essential oil and it is rich in this terpene. And scientifically, inhalation of terpene stimulates the olfactory system. So once the terpene reach our brain through the olfactory system, they begin to interact with the limbic system, which controls our emotion. So there will be the overall positive effect on heart rate, blood pressure, breathing, stress. So this as we can try as a home remedy. Since it has a soporific effect, we can try. So we anyway we don't have any scientific evidence. It is given in a Siddha literature. Next slide. So study on insomnia were conducted. In that study, patients were advised to follow Siddha Tirumular Pranayama. As my previous presenter had showed a demo how to do this pranayama. So this Nadi Shuddhi for our lungs and respiratory system are amazing. So what it actually happens while doing this pranayama, the pulse rate and the respiratory rate has been shown to decrease significantly following just a few weeks of daily Nadi Shuddhi practice. Long-term practice to improve a number of pulmonary health markers in young practitioners. The slow breathing technique used in Nadi Shuddhi has been shown to reduce the systolic and diastolic blood pressure of practitioners immediately after one session, and it reduces stress and anxiety. So the reference is from Siddha text Siddha Sirappu Mattu. Next, Siddha external therapy. Usually, there is, as I said, there will be a Nal Ulkam. In that, they have mentioned oil bath, taking oil bath weekly 2 times. So we can use any therapeutic oil like Chukutailam, depends on the Prakriti, Vada Pitta Kaha. So after taking oil bath, we can also use this Panchakarpam. This powder is made up of white pepper, this haridagi, skin of haridagi, then kasturi manjal, that is a turmeric, wild turmeric, then gooseberry, then along with neem seed. We have to crush and grind it into a powder. We have to take 2 to 5 grams of the powder mixed with 30 ml of boiling milk. Then we have to apply to our scalp and all over the body. And after 20 minutes to 30 minutes, we can take a warm water shower. Actually, what it happens, it reduces our body heat, and it has a even it has a good effect on skin. It prevents skin disease. It can be used as a regenerative therapy. The additional benefit is it gives a good sleep. Along with that, we can also do tokanam, that is body massage with oil application. So what it does, it rejuvenate the body circulation system. Next slide. So I'm concluding with the review that we have explored that good sleep improves immunity by enhancing the ability of T cells to adhere and destroy cells infected by virus and other pathogens. Many of Siddha facts were proven by this. Healthy sleep provides a healthy life. The evidence-based knowledge of Siddha system will open a new door in integration of all over well-being of the patient with a scientific outlook. So the take-home message will be, so these articles, what I have provided has given you the evidence, next slide, given you the efficacy of Siddha traditional medicine along with the yoga practice to improve sleep and immunity. Yeah, quality sleep is non-negotiable. So though we are taking good immunity booster medicine internally or we are having a vaccine shot, but without a good quality sleep, we can't enjoy the benefit of that one. And even more randomized trials should be done in Siddha, present to prove these facts in Siddha literature. Acknowledgement. So I'm thanking my in charge, Dr. V.K. Manikavasan sir, research officer, Ahila ma'am, research officer, and my DG ma'am, Kalavali ma'am, and I have taken these pictures from Ayush Siddha Facebook post. Thank you. Thank you for patient listening. Finally, sleep well and have a good immune system. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Doctor. It was beautiful and full of information. I have to say, some of it just unique up to now. One thing I would like to add is now you can see how this chain of things in life come together just to make you weaker and maybe sick in the end. And we heard just now that also there were those numbers about Switzerland, Austria, and Germany, that those people got some good sleep, which might also be a part of it might be because those countries take also care in some economical ways of the people, that the level of stress might go down, because in some countries you just you have to work a lot to get around the stress level to fall asleep. But one thing I wanted to maybe point out to some people, many of the things you mentioned are very much an Indian thing, right? You cannot get everything in Europe, but if you just for all our viewers, if you just look around, if you just look into your books, there are just as many plants in Europe, or regional plants in America or wherever you are, to have certain effects, like helping the sleep or anything like that. But it was with the mattress, it was pretty interesting. Yes, because you said the Indian cotton mattress is basically making you more active and vibrant in bed, kind of. So it's aphrodisiac kind of functioning, which was a very new point to everything. So all that will help to increase your immunity if you get a good sleep. So just thank you really for taking your time and putting in the effort to give us the whole information, because it was really full of information. We will clip it out and it will be there for people to watch it, because you have to go back and forth. Possibly there were really some beautiful pieces. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity, sir.
Of course. So Vinayak, we are going to the next paper.
Dr. Parvati, I think she's next.
Dr. Parvati, are you in the house? Yes, please go ahead.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Salutations to all the gurus in all the worlds. Myself, Dr. Parvati C, PG scholar from Amrita School of Ayurveda, is presenting before you my topic, Achar Rasayana, Self-Disciplines for Immunity. Introduction. Rasayana is a term in Ayurveda which is having a wide variety of meanings. One meaning is that which brings perfection of rasa. Rasa is the first among the sapta dhadus and the basic components for bodybuilding. And when there is perfection in first dhadu, there will be perfection in other dhadus and a healthy body. And second meaning is that rasayana prevents premature aging, that which prevents premature aging. And third meaning is that which prevents diseases by improving our immunity. And another one preparation of Ayurveda called as Lehya, like Narasimha Rasayana, Chavanaprash Rasayana, etc. is also called as a Rasayana, but it is denoting only a preparation. And broadly, the meaning of Rasayana is that which prevents disease by improving immunity, and that which can cure the disease which had already happened. Classification. There are many classifications of Rasayana as per Ayurveda. The main classifications are Kudi, Praveshika, and where we are consuming the medicine. Kudi, Praveshika. Kudi means a hut, and in this, the patient should be devoid of direct sunlight, direct moisture, wind, and he should be living in the kudi up to the time prescribed. And it is not possible for layman to practice as it is under strict control of diet and food. And Vada Adapika is a condition where the patient can be exposed to water, wind and sunlight, like what we are doing, our today's lifestyle. We can go for Vata Adapika. And the second one is according to the modalities used, Aushadha Rasayana and Achara Rasayana. Aushadha Rasayana are that in which the medicines are used for getting the Rasayana effect. And second one is Ajara Rasayana, that's following some codes of conduct. We will see it today. Ajara Rasayana, Charyade Anena Idi, that which is followed by people is called as Ajara. Ajara is a practice which is followed by the people. And the reference of Ajara Rasayana is found in Charaka Samhita, and it is also found in almost all classical texts of Ayurveda. And they are a set of practices to be followed by a person in his personal and social life. Its significance is that without using any Rasayana medicine, people will beget the results of Rasayana by simply following the practices which are told under Ajara Rasayana. And another main thing is that there is no need of an expert physician or a diet in this, like Kudi Praveshika Rasayana. If you're taking medicine, we should be taking it under a expert doctor. But here there is no need for any perfect doctor. The patient can himself follow this if he understands this and if he is willing to do this. Ajara Rasayanas, about 22 points are told under Ajara Rasayanas. They are Satyavadinam. The first point is that those who want to get the Rasayana effect for boosting immunity, they should be telling Satya only, truth only. Truth is given importance in almost all religions and all cultures. And speaking truth helps the person to get free from Prajnaparada. Prajnaparada is a concept in Ayurveda in which if we are having a feeling of self-guilt, if we are moving from our path of ethics, which are already in our mind, and if you are getting a feeling of guiltiness, it is called as Prajnaparada. It is a main thing which triggers almost all the tridoshas and all the causative factors for mental and physical illness. So Prajnaparada is a main thing. If you are following this, we will be free from that Prajnaparada. And Akrodham, he should be free of anger. Anger releases adrenaline, and leading to depression. Depression is found to increase 37% of diabetes in a study. And Nivritta Madhya Maidunam, he should be free from alcohol and maintain celibacy. And Nivritta Madhya Maidunam means alcohol is told to use in Ayurveda only as for medicinal purpose, not for some intoxication like that. And maintaining celibacy before marriage is complete celibacy as a student. And after marriage, celibacy means having a relationship only with one's own wife or husband, having only one partner. And next one is ahimsa. Ahimsa is non-violence in thought and in action. We know cortisol and adrenaline are the major stress hormones in the body. Following ahimsa can contribute to a peaceful mind and thus leading to better social harmony. And anayasam is avoiding stress for both mind and body. Ayurveda advocates even exercise should be done only half to one's capacity. Stress to mind also should be avoided. And Prashanda, he should be calmful. Priyavadanam, he should be talking in a pleasing manner. And mantra, we know, mantras are a sort of positive affirmations. He should use some mantra. By chanting mantra, it will increase our vibration levels with the sound energy. And Shauja Param means cleanliness both in body, we can get cleanliness by bathing, and in mind by our thoughts, and in speech, if you are talking in a good manners, we will get cleanliness. So Shauja Param, we should remain clean. And Dhiram, we should be strong in our mind and decisions. Dana Nityam, we should be doing daily charity, as it's a part of Vedic culture also. Charity can be any means, doing charity either to humans or to animal as their food or shelter. And Tabasvinam, we should engage in some sort of religious activities daily. It can relieve our stress. And Deva Go Brahmana Achara Guru Vritharchaneradam. He should be continuously respecting God, cow, scholars, his teachers, and old people always. And Nitya Anushasya Param, he should avoid harsh behavior. Nitya Karuna Vedinam, he should remain compassionate always. And Samajagara Swapnam, he should maintain regular period of awakening and sleep. And Nitya Kshira Gradashinam. He should practice intake of Kshira, milk and ghee daily in his diet. Desha Kala Pramana Jnanam. He should possess knowledge which is appropriate to the appropriate place and time. Yukti Jnanam. He should possess rational knowledge. Anahangridam. He should be free from ego. Shasta Ajara. He should have good conducts. And Asankirnam. He should possess a broad mind, not a narrow mind. And those who follow this will be free from Prajnabarada, and he can have good health in body and in mind. As per modern view, all the emotions are associated with our limbic system and other parts of the brain. The immunity and health of a person is nothing but proper functioning of his endocrine system. Immunity is regulated by mental health to the greater extent. So winning over our mind is the greatest solution to boost immunity. Immunity is mainly hampered by today's lifestyle and by stress. Ajar Rasayana helps us to be friendly with ourselves and with others. Ajara Rasayana is following proper Achara. Vichara is the karmas, what we are doing, the actions we are following, and the Ahara, and like milk and ghee is told in our diet, and it plays a key role in maintaining equilibrium state of mankind. Ajara Rasayana will reduce the stress and thus prevent the release of free radicals and improve the psychoneuroimmunity. It's a code of conduct of social behavior. It teaches a preferred lifestyle of what are do's and what are don'ts. This helps a defensive mechanism in the prevention of anxiety neurosis. Psychoneuroimmunology is a branch that studies the relationship between immunity, endocrine system, and central and peripheral nervous system. Whereas in Ayurveda, we find a clear connection between all these factors stated in the classical text belonging to 2nd century BC. Ajarasana is a practice improving psychoneuroimmunology, which remains unexplored till the date. It should be advised by the practitioners and health professionals to promote the concept of healthy mind for a healthy body. Conclusion. Ajar Rasayana is to be given prime importance in today's world as it is cost-effective and effective tool for improving immune health with additional benefits of providing self-contentment and peace and happiness to the society also. Individually, each Ajara Rasayanas can be made as a matter for deep studies. These are my references. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You just broke off just at the end. Luckily, yes, I think the sound broke off, but luckily it was at the final slide when we then couldn't hear you. Right, Vinayak? Is it the same with you?
Yeah. I think the last part was.
Yeah, it was just the final slide with the name mentioning when it broke off. So anyway, thank you very much, Dr. Parvati. This was beautiful because we had heard of the Rasayana a few times, and this was a really deep look into what it is and the ingredients, so to say. And now we know this was great. Now we have Rasayanas too as a whole informational clip. So thank you very much. Thanks for giving us your time and for all the effort. Now we had the papers. What do we do? Do we go for a break or do we go on?
I think Dr. Prashant is already here. And I think I would say we continue because I think
yes. Right. No
I'm
problem.
expecting Dr. Jaya Venkatesh from Siddha system to come, but in case he cannot make it, I requested Dr. Mananali to join us for the discussion. Yeah.
No problem. We'll go through a certain basic issues. I mean, we heard some very specific ones now with the papers about sleep, maybe sleep deficiency, maybe oversleeping and all that. Certain situations with Siddha and with Ayurveda, but let's start the discussion with, you said...
Dr. Prasanna Kakunji.
Okay, Dr. Prasanna.
I think that.
Happy to have you here. Maybe you can start with giving us...
Doctor.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Maybe you can start by giving us a basic idea of what Ayurveda thinks of sleep and the importance and the ways to handle it and everything that comes together with that.
Sorry, I just joined.
No problem.
Was it to me?
Yes.
Okay.
We are starting the discussion round where we try to get the different ideas of different systems to the same question, and we go through 2-3 questions and to see how this is handled by each system. So the first question would be, how is Ayurveda looking at sleep and the connection between sleep and the immune system and how it has to be handled, and what maybe would be something very specific and special about Ayurveda and sleep that you could give us?
Yes. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity. And yeah, at the outset, I'd like to pay my gratitude to my gurus and all those who are contributing to the development and spread of the message of the real Ayurveda. I'm very glad to be on this forum and supporting each other in this very genuine effort of giving the real knowledge of Ayurveda to the world. It's basically rediscovering how Ayurveda has been initiated. In the beginning itself, it says like Brahma Smrutva Ayurvedam. So the knowledge, or the ultimate knowledge, or the truth, or the Brahma, or you name it, whatever in the way you want to, it was already there. It just expressed itself. That's the meaning of Brahma Smrutva Ayurvedam. That's how Ayurveda expressed itself. So it's the universal truth and the universal law, which is there always, and which was there always, and which will be there always. So that's why it's Anadi and Ananta. So it has no beginning and no end. It's infinity. So it keeps moving and it exists there. So likewise, if we look at the aim and objectives of Ayurveda, it is to support every individual or the living being in achieving its goals of life, dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So that's the purpose of practicing Ayurveda, or living Ayurveda, I will say. That's a better word, I would say. It's not a practice, it's not just a medicine, but it's a way of life and how to live and raise in our consciousness towards the better goal and the ultimate destination of our existence, our own existence. So in that process, Ayurveda takes us from the physical level to the mind and the conscious and the self. These are the areas Ayurveda slowly takes us from one to the other level of raising our consciousness. That's what Ayurveda is all about. So in that, it says if our health is lost, then we will not be able to achieve our goals, purusharthas. We won't be able to do our dharma, or earn our artha, or achieve our kamas, or attain the moksha. Nothing is possible if we have anarogya, or the disease. So Ayurveda is a means, or the support system, life science for achieving this. And in that, it looks into how to prevent diseases from emerging in ourselves. So that's the first aim of Ayurveda. It does not talk about diseases and their treatments in the beginning. Even in the first half of the Samhitas, if you look into it, just talks about how to prevent them, how to lead a healthier life, and not worrying about diseases. So that's the primary objective. Only then it says aturasya vikara prashamanam. First thing is swastasya swasthya rakshanam. So protect and promote the health of an individual, prevent diseases, and only then, if due to there are so many variables which are either in our control or not in our control, like seasons and all those are not in our control. Diet, exercise, and those are dinacharyas, ritucharyas are in our control. So both the factors, if you look into, there may be some mistakes or there may be something which is not in our control, and we end up having some health issues, diseases, or whatever we name it as. And it may be afflicting our sharira, the body, or the mind. So in order to prevent that, we are following all these preventive measures. And when it fails due to some of the reasons, then it talks about how to diagnose it properly, pinpoint the location, the disease imbalance of doshas, and then how to promote health after we get rid of the problem and come to a harmony or balance of doshas. So that's where it talks about diseases at a later stage. So in that, sleep is one of the important factors. Ahara, the food, nidra, the sleep, and brahmacharya or the abrahmacharya. That is expansion, basically. It's not just a syllabusy or anything like that. So when we try to translate Sanskrit into English, the totality of the meaning which it wants to convey gets kind of lost. So I would like to call it as brahmacharya itself. Brahma is like knowledge or the expansion, the tendency to expand. That's the universal truth, and that's the universal happening. That's what Brahma is. And being with that expansive consciousness is brahmacharya. So these three are three important pillars in maintaining health. So sleep and exercise, these are the two topics here. So I'm touching on that. So sleep is described as nidrayattam sukham dukkam pushtihi karshyam bala balam. There, that bala also includes immunity. I don't want to just limit that word to immunity. From the modern perspective, immunity can give a wrong message at some point of time, So that perspective of immunity also is a part of bala. So bala is strength of tissues, or even doshas, or ojas, tejas, prana, everything is considered and when we say bala. So that bala is protected if we have sufficient, not excess, not less, sleep according to the person's personality type or the season, or all those variable factors we were looking at, whether deceased or a child or elderly, based on even the age, disease or healthy, based on all that. We cannot fix like 8 hours sleep is required, 6 hours sleep is required, 7 hours sleep is required. So that
Oh, there is a phrase you broke off, Doctor, in the middle.
And hello.
Yes, you just broke off, and then now you came back. It was like the last minute.
Just for a moment.
Yes.
Okay, so that's about sleep. And exercise is also, the vyayama has been described as one of the important activity in the dinacharya or the daily regimen, in which if it is done in excess can aggravate vata, and if it is not at all done, then it can aggravate tamas and kapha, which can go abnormal. So again, it is individualistic. So every person needs different timing and amount of exercise or the vyayama, and that can protect our bala or keep up the strength and potency of dhatus, ojas, teja, and prana flowing properly in the body. So that's the ultimate purpose of doing vyayama also. Dhatu pushti, the strengthening of dhatus will also happen by that, and agni deepana will also happen by vyayama. So our digestive and metabolic abilities will also be optimized by this, and which all are in turn affecting our immunity as well. So that's what I would want to open this discussion as.
Very nice, thank you. Just so you're saying there is no basic rule of how many hours of sleep you need. There is no basic rules of how much exercise you might have. Would you say, because at least we learned that in Ayurveda you have the three basic humors and certain types that are more in this or that direction. Would you say that certain types generally need more sleep and certain types less, or more exercise? Could you go a little bit into that?
Yes, that is, yeah, as a general rule, a rule of thumb is there, of course. Like a kapha type of person may need more of exercise and less of sleep, whereas a Vatika type of person will need less of exercise and more of sleep or rest, I would say. It's more than sleep. I want to call it as rest, because even the purpose of yoga, for that matter, if we take, yoga is all about bringing body, mind, and also the self into a state of resting state. That's where it has least of fluctuations or imbalances. That is the resting phase, resting state of all of that. Asana also is a sthiram sukham asanam. So that means bringing the body into a state of rest where it can relax and rest. And the mind also, meditation is bringing the mind into a state of rest. And all of these are indicating to that. So sleep is also a part of that. And sleep and exercise, both I'm addressing at the same time. Kaphas will need more exercise, less of sleep, and vatas on the other hand. It's like a spectrum. So pittas fall in between, and so they might need a moderated amount of sleep and exercise.
So
and again,
and the pitta is free to go, or
no, moderated quantities or amount, or
cautious.
yeah, we would say. Just to touch upon that, like if I say kaphas will need 6 hours of sleep, if I say, then pittas might need 7 and vatas might need 8 hours of sleep. That's how we can just simplify that. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's not that simple still, because seasonal and those variations will still be there.
Right. All right. So let's keep it there for the first round. We'll go to our next guest to see how we were talking about how the Siddha medicine will handle certain types. Dr. Miruna Lenny, I think is supposed to give us. Is that right, Vinayak?
Yeah, I think she's here. I think she was gone
yes.
for a while. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Great, Doctor. So, would you say you gave us also with the presentations? We have some idea of that, but what would you say? Is there a basic recommendation in Siddha about the time of sleep hours? I mean, we had about the time of sleep in the papers, we had that going to bed, I think in the papers was 9 to 10 and to 4 to 5 in the morning. But would you say this is a very general rule for everybody? Or would you say it still depends on the type, and if someone comes to you for a consultation, you might tell them they need more or less sleep? Is it dependent on the body type, on the dosha type? What would be your way to look at it?
I think she got disconnected again, I think.
Oh. Okay.
Maybe Dr. Shiv Shankari, maybe you can take that point.
Yeah.
Meantime, I think
If
you can.
Dr. Shiva Shankari is available at.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, maybe you can give us, because Dr. Prasanna gave us just a deeper look into what Ayurveda thinks of the sleep and exercise mode, and a lot of it is dependent on your body type, your doshas, and also your time of the year, your time of life, and all these things. So, but we also heard that in Siddha, there is a baseline, when to go to sleep, how long to go to sleep. But is there also in Siddha a way to differentiate between people and say maybe this person needs more sleep, this person needs less sleep, or during this ages you need more sleep? Is there that kind of guidelines, that kind of rules in Siddha?
Yes, sir. Is the rules in Siddha about the sleep are, sir, and according to the age, sir, 5 to 15 years, they have 8 hours to sleep, and 16 to 30 years for 7 hours to sleep, and 30 to 50 years is 6 hours to sleep, and above 50, they have 8 hours to sleep, sir. And we have a Kala Niyamam solvang, sir. Tell that it means 6 seasons, sir. That is called Munpani Kalam, Pinpani Kalam. That's right. The Munpani Kalam in time of April and to April, May, the time to sleep is increases, sir.
Okay, so we have. Go on.
Sir, not mentioned the body types, sir. They mentioned only the ages of the people, sir. Ages, right, 5 to 15, that the age people, how many time to sleep, sir.
So basically it's about the ages and seasonal things that are given, but not the body types. So
yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you for now. So just what we getting out of this is in Siddha you have very clear guidelines for sleep, and is there also something on those lines for the exercise? Because we saw that there is the yoga exercise for Siddha recommended. Is there also an age-wise recommendation, guidelines like that? How much, which time of the day, maybe something like that?
Sir, after the age of 8, all people do exercise, sir. That's indicated in our Siddha system, and
so that's basically it. You start not before 8, but after 8 you just do the yoga. But I mean, I would understand the way we heard from our yoga people also, that anyway, you usually would go to a guru once you want to start your yoga, and that way it is also handled, because your guru will give you the guidelines that you need for yourself. So I assume that's the kind of system that that is how it's handled in the Siddha medicine. So for now, thank you for this round. Vinayak, who?
I think we will have to go back to Dr. Prasanna. I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We had one or two people maybe falling out. So let me come back to this question, Dr. Prasanna. You said about the sleep and exercise, and about different types. So is there a situation where sleep or no sleep is part of the therapy, or is part of whatever you would prescribe for your patient? Or is it just a basic, I mean, because to see if, let me put it that, if there is a very, very direct influence you can take by sleep. I mean, it's obvious that we heard it also, the body needs sleep to recover, body needs the sleep to handle all the issues that come up during the day. But I mean, are there ailments where you would say, all right, this person would usually have to sleep for, let's say, 6 hours, but we will do things, give them some medicine or something so that they can sleep for 10 hours a day or something like that. So is that part of anything, or is it not really considered a good thing to push the sleep?
Yeah, very, very good question, actually. Like, yeah, sleep can also be used therapeutically. Yeah, one is, as we said, like sleep is a very important pillar for maintaining health, and one of the reasons for diseases also. Likewise, anything in this universe can be used for treatments as well. A Vaidya or a doctor with yukti who knows how to use anything for therapeutic purposes will know how to use sleep or no sleep as well. For example, if in Vasanta, that is a spring season, where kapha as a dosha increases in body, more of stagnation or dampness or tamas increases in our body, then what we can do. One of the way drugless therapies is staying awake at night or doing jagaran. Jagaran is one of the important customs we follow in Shivaratri. That's a season where a Rutu Sandhi, a juncture of two seasons happens, and that's where Shivaratri Jagaran is performed or observed. And all a lot of Indian festivals signify a change in the seasonal regimen we need to follow, or something we need to start following. Similarly, because the kapha is going to aggravate in spring, before the onset of spring, indicatively we do one night of jagaran, that is staying awake at night, doing Shiva Dhyana or bhajans, singing, praying, and meditating on God, and those are customarily what we do. But that, if you go into the depths of it therapeutically, that's where they say you need to sleep less from now on. This is the season which is setting in to aggravate kapha in future. So sleep less. If you sleep more, your kapha is going to aggravate. So that's the indication we can observe if we look into the festivals. Likewise, in Deepavali, the festival of lights, what we do perform in India, that's a season where we need to start applying oil on our body. So on the first day of Deepavali, that Diwali in North India, as they call it as, we start doing abhyanga, because that's when winter starts and our skin starts to get dried up and gets cracks and all these, and it needs to be moisturized, or sneha is required, the oil is required for the body. So indicatively in that festival they use oil and do abhyanga. But now we have forgotten the purpose of it, and we just do as a customary ritual, and sometimes it will be only just a few drops on the head applied and just done it as a custom, because we don't normally, it's not passed on why it was being done. So if we go into the depths of those and the reasoning for all those customary procedures and the festivals, they all are related to our, especially most of them are related to our ritucharya, seasonal regimens. In change in the season is indicated by many of those festivals, and those rituals indicate that. Likewise, this sleep can be used as a therapy whenever we see that a patient has increased or aggravated kapha. So that can be a drugless therapy, one of the. And similarly, if a person is suffering from vata aggravation, vatic aggravation, the air energy or humor you want to call it as maybe, then if it is aggravated and person is restless, then giving therapies or counseling or maybe meditation and breathing techniques, which can bring balance of sleep and give him better quality of sleep and longer hours of sleep, will help the person to relax and control that vata which was aggravated. So that can be used as therapy.
Very good, thank you. We have a question from Dr. Parvati to you. Is it, she's saying, can we tell that instead of increasing the hours of sleep, Ayurveda improves the quality of sleep, because deep sleep for even less period, less time can relax us more, probably?
Yes, I agree with that. Yes, if the quality of sleep is very good and we can go to a very deep state of relaxation in that sleep, then definitely it's not the hours which will matter. If the quality of sleep is good, even 2 or 3 hours of sleep might be sufficient. And that's what, if we are really into the true practice of yoga nidra, that is what it can give us, a deep relaxation. And with just 2 hours of sleep also, person can be performing very well.
Right.
Definitely quality of sleep is more important than the hours of sleep.
So for that now, especially in the Western world, there are many issues with sleep. I mean, we have sleeping therapies, we have sleeping clinics, we have hospitals all around the sleeping and sleep research. So especially not only the quality of sleep, but also the quantity of sleep is oftentimes very low, which brings out all kind of issues in a person. So what would you recommend if somebody is not having a good sleep, having enough sleep, and not a good quality of sleep? What would be, I mean, definitely we understood you would have to know the person, the individual, to see what really works. But just as a very, very general guideline for everybody listening or viewing, what could you do to have a better sleep? I mean, because, in Europe, sometimes people think you drink 2 or 3 beers extra and then your sleep will be great. But we've found out that that doesn't really help the quality of your sleep. It's usually the opposite. So what could you, as an Ayurvedic doctor, tell us that might help everybody?
Yes, yes, that's where the quality and the pattern or the type of sleep you induce matters. Because, like you said, the alcohol, due to intoxication, if you doze off or you sleep off, the quality is not so good. That's why the next day you don't feel fresh, and you definitely maybe you also have a hangover, which definitely indicates that it was not good for your health, and it was not a healthy sleep you had. And that's where it's not the quantity or the hours of sleep is, because sleep is again classified into various categories. Tamodbhava, Shleshma Samudbhava cha, like that they go on enumerating what are the types of sleep. In that, if it is, I think, a totally tamasic type of sleep, that's where you don't feel fresh in the morning. If it is more of sattvic uh, type of relaxation, then you will wake up by yourself without any alarm or anything else. You just wake up and you feel so fresh, even if it is just 4 hours of sleep, and you feel fresh and ready to go. That's the kind of energy it gives. And for that, I also would say, when you sleep also matters. Like if you sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning, or say after 12 midnight, then the quality of sleep cannot be good. But rather, if you sleep before the kapha time ends and the pitta time starts, that is, they call it as kali yama. In that, if it is the phase where, from the modern perspective, if you look into where the melatonin release is most, that's the time. If you sleep, like in India, if I say, it should be before 10 p.m. So before 10 at night, if you sleep, your quality of sleep will be a lot better than sleeping late at night. So even if you sleep at 12 midnight and wake up at 8 or 9 in the morning, it won't be that good and fresh you feeling, than having going to bed before 10 and waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. That will be even much better feeling and freshness and the energy levels you will be getting. So when you sleep also matters, and how you go to sleep. Because there is one more question I see: what are the practices or that we can do, and what therapies are useful? I am summing up those things. um, how you go to bed also is important. So at least 1.5 hours before going to bed, if you stay away from screens, lights, and preferably be in a dark place or a very dim light space, and you meditate, you relax, or maybe read a nice book which gives you most relaxing feeling. Those are all things which will matter. And also what time you have dinner and how much gap you have given for the stomach to feel lighter, that is also important. If you are full and then you sleep immediately and you have acid reflux, regurgitation of food you have eaten, or the stomach is feeling heavy, then also your quality of sleep will be hampered. So there are several factors like this. And how cluttered our mind is also very important. So meditation is not just like, okay, you sit like this straight and try to control your mind for 5 minutes and then chant something which you don't believe in, and then you go to bed. That doesn't help. Doctor, you said I have to meditate, and my sleep is still the same. Then you can't relax. Basically, your mind should be clutter free, or else there are people who are very active and coming up with lots of ideas even in sleep. For them, the only way out is like maybe they have to keep a pen and paper by the bedside, and whenever an idea pops, then they have to just jot it down, write it down, and then go to sleep. Then their mind will be free because their idea is already on the paper. They don't have to be worried about forgetting it the next day. So those are all tiny little bits and pieces of information we need to be aware of, so to have a better sleep. And also maybe having a nice padabhyanga, a foot massage, if there is a possibility, or even a self massage to the feet, and soaking our feet in warm water, and then wiping off our feet and going to bed, listening to very soothing music, reading books. There are several ways, and something works for me need not work for you. So it might be different. We need to experiment and see what works best for me, and then follow that. Maybe sometimes something works, and next season we may need something else.
Many people are using real high power cardio training before going to sleep for do you think, because some people are saying that's not a good idea before sleep, right? So yes. What's your idea on that? Is that something that in general is not really very good, or is good?
Yeah, no, I would not agree to that as well, because but for a good quality of sleep, you need tamas and kapha, or the shleshma. High cardio or any kind of exercise will definitely aggravate vata and reduce kapha and tamas. So the sleep is not a real sleep, but it's exhaustion. You have drained out your battery and the phone is getting dead. It's just switching itself off. It's not going to sleep, but it's just turning itself off because the battery is drained out. So you are exhausted and your body is resting. So that's a different thing. So that may not be the right way to do it. Maybe once or twice is okay, but it should not be a regular practice like that. And it's not the real way of getting into deeper sleep.
So basically, you're saying, I mean, we have had it now with the alcohol coming into your system, just as with the cardio. You're trying to kind of die, right? This is you're trying to kill your system, right?
Yeah.
And the way I understand it, what each of the participants in this part of the discussion today and the papers is saying is that sleep also has to be handled in a way more conscious way, in a way more, it's not that dead man's land that we just fall into whenever the day seems to be over, and we hope to find a better day the next day. But we should really also appreciate this time of sleep as a part of our life. So, I mean, this is something that seems to come out here, that Ayurveda or Siddha are really going about the sleep in a very active way. It's not just something that is a let go situation and you lose yourself into that no man's land. But yeah, so what
yes, because see, in the same verse, the shloka I was saying, bala balam, in that it ends with jivitam nacha. So if the sleep is not proper and in the right way, right manner, it can give you life or take your life. So the death and life also depends on having a proper sleep or not. So life and death depend on sleep.
So just closing your eyes and not being unconscious is not the way to go about it, right? So
yeah.
So that's very important, really, and because everything here has a basic idea of bringing some balance to everything, and by the end you should be happy with whatever you do. So also sleep is a situation to be happy with, right? So this
absolutely.
No, this is really an important point in this, because many people nowadays are using, just on a final point, because you gave us so much of your time, and also we lost a few people who had come in for the discussion, so we cannot have you answer all the questions of the world. Even if you
I understand. Yes.
But many people are using certain not drugs in the illegal way, but legal drugs to fall asleep, to go to sleep. So what's the idea of Ayurveda, or your idea on that? Would you use sleeping pills or any kind of drugs to induce sleep in certain cases? And if so, what kind of drugs are used in the Ayurvedic sense? Because in here we know there is a lot going on with kind of opiates and certain drugs that even can be very harmful and get you into addiction. So what's the Ayurvedic way to go about it when someone has a real issue with sleeping?
Is this a question to me as well?
Yes. This is the final question for this discussion, so that we can conclude with that. Just if it doesn't work.
When using a sleeping pill or a drug, when it is like totally out of control temporarily, as long as you don't depend on it for your sleep, you may have to use it like when there is fire. Of course, you have to do something very immediately, maybe if nothing else is working good for you, but that cannot be the remedy. If that was the remedy, because sleep is the reason for your health, if sleeping in any which way is can result in that, then the best selling drug would be any tranquilizer or sleeping pill in the world. They would be conquering everything, by just making a sleeping pill. You give health to people, but that's not the case happening anywhere. So they cannot give you the right kind of sleep you need. Right. So that can be very temporary and for kind of an emergency solution, but we cannot depend on that, inducing sleep by those kinds of drugs. If it is natural, then it can give you health. Otherwise, it cannot.
So just to get that, basically, it's not healthy to go to bed with a pill and to wake up with another, because that's what many people have been doing for many years, and sometimes they just don't know that this is not the way to go about it. So on a final note, Dr. Parvati is telling us also applying oil to your feet, yes, can be very helpful to go to sleep.
Yes. Those natural means I would definitely agree and support too, because see, even in the definition of symptoms, signs of a healthy person, sukha swapna prabodhanam, that is one of the important thing. The person should be able to go to sleep and wake up fresh, both easily. Sukha, without any difficulty, should be able to go to sleep and also to be awake by naturally, not with the help of alarm or anything. Or whenever he wakes up, he or she should be fresh and feeling energized. That's the sign of a good health, one of the signs of good health. So I don't think taking a sleeping pill, alcohol, or anything for that matter of that kind gives you that kind of sukha swapna and sukha prabodhana. That doesn't happen.
All right, thank you very much. I think Vinayak, with the others having fallen out,
I think Dr. Milanoli is back. I think maybe she can probably give us one last aspect of from the Siddha side, like if somebody is not sleeping so well, how from the Siddha side they look at it. Doctor, are you here?
Dr.
Mironali.
Yeah.
Okay, I think.
All right.
You can conclude. Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
No problem, because we heard really a lot about the whole sleeping and exercising situation with everybody. I mean, we heard the guidelines from Siddha, from Ayurveda. We heard the ways to handle exercise and sleep. We heard from Dr. Prasanna very deep looks into how to handle sleep and exercise for different types, and how to go about it, and especially about the quality of sleep more than of a certain quantity. And with that, I think we can conclude the sleep and exercise part of it, and come to an end.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh, yes.
I'm Dr. Mrinalini, sir. Sorry, my internet was not stable while you were asking question. I just want to summarize one point, sir.
Yes.
You were asking about when not to sleep, like that you were asking. No?
Right,
that
right.
time my internet was in not
no
stable.
problem. Great.
I just want to summarize.
Yes.
Sir, as I said in my presentation, so in Siddha, they have strongly opposed daytime sleep. But in seasonal changes, we can sleep in daytime during October and December, because already in that time, Pitta will get aggravated. To pacify it, we can have a nap in afternoon. So that the Vada thing will get increased. So this is one point. Another thing, who and all should not take sleep. As Sir Ayurvedic Sir said, na, obesity person should not take sleep in daytime. That is, then person who took oil bath should avoid. Then person with throat disease, then who had a poison or under treatment, they should avoid sleep during daytime. Then you were asking about the exercise part of Siddha. In the ideal time will be morning, but we can do exercise at evening also. In Siddha, specifically, they say martial art is also one of the exercise. Martial art, silambam, we used to say silambam in Tamil, even wrestling, traditional wrestling, horse riding, these also comes under exercise part. Even playing, running, all comes under this one. In yogic part, they have certain asana for people who lead brahmacharya life and who is having family life. So that yogic thing differs. Then you were asking about the ritual to have a good sleep. I mentioned about the oil bathing weekly 2 times. So female has to take oil bath weekly 2 times, especially on Tuesday and Friday. Males should take oil bath Wednesday and Saturday. So oil, they have to apply oil from head to toe, head to toe. Warm oil we can apply. Then we can choose the oil, depends upon the prakriti, vada, pitta, kava. So they have to take a bath before the it should not be like 10 o'clock like that. Before 7 like that, we have to take oil bath. While taking oil bath, we should not have a day sleep, and we should not have cold items like a curd. We have to avoid non-vegetarian things. So we have to follow certain ritual while taking oil bath. Then you were asking about who and all can do exercise. So Vada and the Pitta person should do a moderate amount of exercise, and Kapha Dehi have to do more exercise. So as Sir said, that is common in Siddha, in Ayurveda, sir. Then it is mentioned in text that old age person and a person below 12 years should not do heavy exercise. So it is mentioned in our text, sir. Then after having dinner, the ideal time to take go to sleep. So it is mentioned in text before 10. So one should have dinner, followed by he or she can have a short walk, followed by they have to watch the moon, sir. So there is a specific pattern to watch moon. We have, so that it will cool down our nerve system. Followed by we can apply a cow's ghee in our both feet, and we can go to sleep. So I just want to summarize these things, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is basically an overload of information in the shortest possible time. Thank you very much. It was beautiful, because the whole Siddha technology and science is definitely going way deeper than one might expect from a medical system, because it's taking into account time and even planetary constellations, and also certain seasons, and your life age, your situation, your gender. I mean, this is very elaborate, just as Ayurveda is, just as these systems are going really into details in ways that maybe for, let's say, for Westerners, it would be, it might be at first glance, it might be questionable why, for example, women should take a bath on a Tuesday and a Friday, and men on a Wednesday and Saturday. But going deeper, there are explanations and a whole system behind it. And that's the beautiful part of it. With each and every paper, with each and every discussion that we have here, also with the pre-talks, we could see that nothing is done just because of nothing. You know, it all has some very elaborate reasoning behind it, and even if you don't understand it at first, it really makes some sense after a while. But I would recommend people to just really go, first of all, go through our videos, through our talks, through the presentations, to see some, because it's really not too much of it all over the internet. Siddha seems still to be very secretive thing for most of the world, because it's a very South Indian thing. But also Ayurveda has been moving on a little further throughout the world, but still also with Ayurveda, people mostly know about one or two massages each year, and you know, you put the label Ayurveda on cosmetic products and sell them better probably. But the idea is just like the same with yoga. Yoga is a widely seen as a fitness kind of program and a sport, which we understand here it's not. So it's really, if you are watching this, then watch everything about it. And if you want to know, then really get in touch with people who are here, who are working in this field, who are also reachable for everybody. There are institutes that we have here as links on our advisory board, etc. So there is a way to find out about these things. I'm saying that because some people might be in searching, in a searching situation, in for something that works. And that's what I want to tell everybody. If you do yoga, if you go to some Ayurvedic doctor and consultation, just see for yourself, see if certain advices and guidelines that you get, don't go just first for some medicine or some drugs, some mixtures, whatever there is, because we talked about it. People jump right in and buy some things that they take in as supplements or anything, and they think to themselves, this is just Ayurvedic stuff, this is just plant-based. But as we learned also, and as we all have experienced working in that field, that people overdo that. People do harm to their bodies. So don't do that. Just get the consultation and see if that works. And this all makes only sense when it works, and it should work. If it doesn't work for you, then it just doesn't. Then either you're doing something not in the right way, or this is not for you. But I would say, from my own experience, many of these things have been experienced by many people here on board, and they just work. Be it yoga, be it Ayurveda, be it Siddha, be it TCM, be it acupuncture. It's just about the situation, the person. You have to find the right way to apply these things, just like our guest today told us. I'm very grateful to everybody, Dr. Prasanna, Dr. Shivashankari, and also for the final, a load of information, Dr. Miruna Leni, who could get back into action, made us happy to take part in a final part of the discussion. So thank you to you all. Thank you for taking part in this, giving us your time. Thanks to all the viewers, to all the listeners. We'll be back tomorrow, day 5 of the Knowledge Festival. Go to the website, go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, get the information when the next live stream is on. And until tomorrow, have a beautiful night and day wherever you are, and see you then. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.